Imagine being a teenager in the early 2000s. No TikTok, no Instagram, just webcams, cheap flip phones, and shady chat rooms where strangers could be anyone they claimed. This is where the nightmare of Megan is Missing begins, a film that shocked audiences for its disturbing realism. The story follows two best friends, Megan Stewart and Amy Herman. Megan is the popular one. She's beautiful, outgoing, always surrounded by boys, and often at wild parties. But underneath her confident smile, Megan hides a troubled past, abuse, neglect, and loneliness. Her best friend Amy is the complete opposite, shy, awkward, often bullied, but incredibly loyal. She doesn't have Megan's popularity, but she treasures their friendship. The movie unfolds like a collection of home videos, video diaries, and chat logs, giving us an uncomfortable sense of realism, as if we're peeking into the lives of two real girls. One night, Megan chats online with a mysterious boy named Josh. He's polite, funny, and claims to be new in town. But here's the catch: he refuses to turn on his webcam. Megan doesn't think much of it. She's used to talking to strangers online. Amy warns her to be careful, but Megan brushes it off. Josh slowly earns Megan's trust. He tells her he's a skater, good-looking, and just a little shy. Megan, craving connection and validation, becomes excited to finally meet him. Amy records her doubts in her video diary, saying she has a bad feeling about Josh. Megan makes plans to meet Josh in person. One night, she sneaks out to see him. She's never heard from again. The next morning, Amy panics. Megan doesn't answer her calls, her texts go unanswered, and her bedroom is eerily quiet. Soon, Megan's disappearance makes the local news. Her mother pleads for her safe return, while police begin investigating. Rumors spread that Megan may have simply run away, but Amy knows better. Amy records tearful video messages, pleading for Megan to come home. Her loneliness grows heavier each day. The once vibrant energy of the film turns cold and silent. Megan is gone. As Amy struggles with grief, she starts receiving online messages from Josh. The same Josh who lured Megan. At first, he pretends to comfort her. Then, slowly, he pulls her into his trap. Amy, vulnerable and desperate for answers, agrees to meet him. The footage that follows is some of the most disturbing ever shown in a found footage film. We see Amy captured, bound, and begging for her life. The handheld camera never looks away. In one of the most infamous horror scenes ever filmed, Amy is shown locked inside a large barrel. When the camera opens it, the horror is revealed. Megan's lifeless body is stuffed inside. Amy's screams echo through the darkness, but no one can hear her. Josh seals the barrel shut with Amy trapped inside. Her pleas grow weaker as the barrel is dragged into the woods. The final shot is devastating. Amy is buried alive. The camera captures her last moments of terror before silence takes over. There's no happy resolution. No heroic rescue. No justice. The film ends abruptly, reminding us that what we just watched is inspired by real cases of online predators and kidnappings. Director Michael Goy wanted this movie to be a warning to teenagers, and it succeeds, maybe too well. The disturbing realism has made it one of the most controversial horror films of the 2010s. Megan is Missing doesn't rely on jump scares, monsters, or special effects. Its terror comes from how real it feels. These are just two ordinary girls, living ordinary teenage lives, until a stranger changes everything. The film is a chilling reminder of the dangers of trusting people online, especially for young teens. The low-budget, documentary-style approach only makes it more believable. And once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. And that's the story of Megan is Missing, 2011. A movie that looks like a simple teen drama at first but quickly spirals into one of the most unsettling cautionary tales ever put on film. It's not just horror, it's a nightmare that could happen to anyone. Some horror films are made to entertain, others to shock. But a Serbian film is made to disturb. It's not just a movie, it's an assault on the senses, one of the most infamous horror films ever created. While many people can't even finish it, the story at its core is about corruption, exploitation, and the destruction of innocence. The film follows Miloš, a retired adult film star in Serbia. Once famous in the underground industry, Miloš is now living quietly with his wife and young son. He wants to leave his past behind, but money is tight, and his family is struggling. One day, an old colleague approaches Miloš with an offer. There's a mysterious director named Vukmir, who's working on an artistic project. The pay is massive, more than Miloš could ever dream of. Tempted by the chance to secure his family's future, Miloš agrees, even though the details are vague. From the very beginning, the production feels wrong. Miloš is told not to ask questions, to just go with the flow. He's filmed in bizarre situations where he doesn't fully understand what's happening. Vukmir, the director, speaks passionately about his vision. He claims he's making a film that shows the true reality of power and control, how people can be stripped of dignity and turned into objects. But Miloš starts to realize he's being pulled into something much darker than he ever imagined. Miloš is drugged, manipulated, and filmed without his full awareness. Scenes become increasingly violent and grotesque. He tries to back out, but Vukmir won't let him. The director insists Miloš is the perfect actor because of his past fame, his masculinity, and his ability to endure. By now, it's clear Miloš isn't just in a movie, he's in a nightmare. The lines between acting and reality vanish. He's trapped in a world where his body is used as a weapon, and his soul is being destroyed. Miloš finally uncovers the truth. Vukmir is creating a film of ultimate exploitation, something beyond morality. It's not art, it's cruelty packaged for the wealthy and powerful. Miloš is horrified when he realizes just how far the production has gone and who the victims truly are. Drugged, disoriented, and controlled, Miloš is forced to take part in acts he never would have agreed to. His sense of reality collapses as he becomes both victim and unwilling participant. When Miloš finally wakes up from the haze, the damage is irreversible. His family has been dragged into the nightmare, and the horror reaches its peak in the final act. Miloš realizes he's been used in the most twisted way possible, and the people he loves the most have paid the price. Completely broken, Miloš makes the only choice left to him. In the closing moments, he and his family are together, but not in peace. The camera never stops rolling. Even in death, the exploitation continues. A Serbian film is infamous not only because of what it shows, but because of what it means. Many critics see it as a metaphor for Serbia itself, a country scarred by war, corruption, and exploitation. Vukmir, the director within the story, represents power structures that abuse ordinary people. Others see it as a warning about the dangers of extreme media and how far people will go for shock value. Whatever the interpretation, one thing is clear. This is not a film for entertainment. It's a film designed to leave scars. Most audiences don't make it through the entire movie. The graphic imagery is relentless, and the emotional toll is heavy. But those who do finish it are left with questions. What does it mean to exploit someone? How much control do the powerful have over the powerless? And how far is too far in the name of art? And that's the story of a Serbian film, 2010. It's more than just horror, it's a descent into madness, a brutal commentary on exploitation, and one of the most disturbing films ever made. Watching it is like staring into an abyss, and once you've seen it, you can't ever unsee it. Some horror films terrify us with monsters, others with killers in the dark. But Antichrist, directed by Lars von Trier, unsettles us in a different way. It isn't about jump scares or gore, it's about grief, human despair, and the terrifying chaos hidden in nature itself. The film opens with one of the most striking prologues in modern cinema. In slow-motion black and white, we see a husband and wife making love. At the same time, their young son, unsupervised, climbs out of his crib, wanders to an open window, and tragically falls to his death. This devastating accident sets the stage for everything that follows. After the funeral, the wife is inconsolable. She blames herself for the child's death and spirals into deep depression. The husband, a therapist by profession, insists that doctors and medication won't help her. He believes he can guide her through grief himself. But this decision will prove dangerous. Because sometimes, the mind is far darker than any illness, and grief doesn't heal the way textbooks suggest. The wife's grief manifests in nightmares, panic attacks, and self-blame. She sees images of her child falling again and again. The husband tries to treat her like a patient, keeping a clinical distance. But the tension between them grows heavy. Believing that changing their environment will help, the husband takes her to a secluded cabin in the woods, a place they once visited with their son. The cabin is named Eden, an ironic symbol of paradise, which instead becomes a site of madness. From the very first night, the forest feels alive, almost hostile. The wind howls unnaturally, shadows stretch in unnatural ways, and animals behave strangely. At one point, the husband encounters a deer giving birth to a dead fawn. Later, a crow trapped underground refuses to die, even after being struck repeatedly. And most famously, a fox looks directly at him and whispers the words, "Chaos reigns." These surreal images suggest that nature itself is not peaceful, but brutal, an endless cycle of life, death, and suffering. Instead of healing, the wife becomes more unstable. Her grief transforms into fear, then anger, then violent obsession. Their relationship, already strained by guilt, turns increasingly toxic. She reveals disturbing thoughts, that women are closer to nature, and therefore closer to chaos and evil. She begins to believe that suffering is natural, that pain is not something to avoid but something inevitable. Their sexual encounters turn aggressive, blending intimacy with violence. The husband grows alarmed, but he's trapped in the role he created, not just her husband, but her therapist, her caretaker, and her prisoner. The wife's behavior becomes terrifying. She mutilates herself in shocking ways, an act of both punishment and release. The husband is horrified, but before he can help, she turns her violence toward him. In one of the film's most disturbing moments, she physically assaults him, leaving him helpless. The cabin, once a place of supposed healing, becomes a cage of torment. The forest outside seems to mirror her madness, unforgiving, merciless, and filled with death. Nature, grief, and violence all blur into one overwhelming nightmare. The husband, pushed to his breaking point, realizes he can no longer save his wife. Her grief has consumed her completely, transforming into pure destruction. In a brutal act of survival, he kills her. As dawn breaks, he wanders out of the cabin, wounded, traumatized, but alive. As he limps through the forest, faceless women appear all around him, silent figures emerging from the trees. They seem to represent generations of suffering, guilt, and violence, as if nature itself is judging him. The screen fades, leaving the audience shaken and disturbed. Antichrist isn't a traditional horror film, it's an allegory. It uses grief as a lens to explore deeper themes. Nature as chaos. Unlike the idea of nature as pure and peaceful, the film portrays it as violent, indifferent, and full of suffering. The battle of genders. The wife's belief that women are connected to nature, and therefore chaos, suggests a terrifying link between femininity, suffering, and evil. Grief as destruction. Instead of bringing the couple closer, the death of their son rips them apart, proving that not all wounds can heal. The shocking violence is not for cheap scares, it's symbolic, forcing the audience to confront ideas about death, despair, and the darker side of humanity. Many viewers found Antichrist unbearable, walking out of theaters. But others praised it as a masterpiece of art house horror, a film that forces you to feel raw emotion rather than just watch it. The slow pacing, surreal imagery, and relentless despair make it one of the most unsettling films of the 2000s. It lingers in your mind not because of what you see, but because of what it makes you feel: chaos, grief, and helplessness. And that's the story of Antichrist, 2009. A film that begins with loss, journeys through madness, and ends in blood. It's not just horror, it's a meditation on pain, a reminder that grief doesn't always heal, and that sometimes, the scariest monsters aren't outside in the dark, they're inside us all along. While countless horror films rely on demons and ghosts, Atrocious unsettles viewers with something disturbingly human, a family's hidden truth spiraling into nightmare. The story starts with simple home videos. Christian and July Quintanilla, teenage siblings from Barcelona, record their days with playful curiosity. Obsessed with myths and legends, they decide to keep filming when they travel to their family's rural estate for vacation. But their cheerful hobby turns sinister, because what they end up documenting is not just folklore. It is the terrifying reality that leads to their deaths. When Christian and July arrive at the house, they quickly become fascinated by a local story. The legend of a ghostly girl who haunts the nearby woods and labyrinth-like garden. The girl is said to appear at night, leading people astray until they're lost forever. Excited, Christian and July decide to investigate, turning their vacation into a homemade ghost hunting adventure. Their handheld cameras capture everything: the laughter, the teasing, the eerie quiet of the countryside. At first, it feels innocent, even fun. But the legend isn't just a story, and the cameras soon document something far more sinister. At night, the siblings wander into the woods with flashlights, whispering to the camera like paranormal investigators. The deeper they go, the more unsettling things become. They hear whispers, footsteps that don't belong to them, and distant cries that vanish when they call out. One night, Christian records something strange, a shadow moving behind the trees. At first, they laugh it off, maybe it's an animal, or maybe their imagination. But the sense of being watched grows heavier. Back at the house, doors creak open on their own. Objects shift. Their dog begins barking furiously at empty corners. What started as a game now feels dangerously real. The family estate has a sprawling hedge labyrinth, and the siblings decide to film inside it. During the day, it feels harmless. But at night, the maze becomes a trap. The camera shows long corridors of hedges, identical turns, and endless confusion. The siblings hear noises again, branches snapping, faint breathing, a figure darting between the hedges. Their flashlights shake as they try to keep the camera steady. Christian whispers, "We're not alone." Then, the camera captures something terrifying, a glimpse of someone running through the maze. Not a ghostly child, but a figure of flesh and blood. From that moment, the family vacation spirals into chaos. Christian and July try to convince their parents, but the adults dismiss their fears. Yet the siblings can't stop filming. Each night, the evidence grows clearer. Someone is stalking them. The footage shows Christian's fear turning into panic. July begs him to stop filming, but he refuses. His obsession with documenting everything won't let him put the camera down. One night, they venture into the woods again. The sound of footsteps grows louder. Then screams. The camera jolts violently as the siblings run, the lens catching only frantic flashes of trees, dirt, and shadows chasing them. The climax is chaotic, filmed in shaky, desperate shots. Christian and July are cornered in the labyrinth. The figure pursuing them finally emerges. But it's not the ghostly girl from the legend. It's their own mother. The footage reveals that she is the one behind the terror. Paranoid, unstable, and consumed by madness, she brutally murders her own children. The cameras fall to the ground as screams cut through the night. The next morning, police arrive. They find the siblings' cameras buried in the dirt. The film ends with their recovered footage, the only record of what truly happened. Unlike supernatural horror, Atrocious terrifies because of its realism. There are no demons or curses, just a family secret turned deadly. The ghost was nothing more than a cover for madness, and the true monster was someone inside the house. The use of found footage style makes it even more unsettling. Everything feels raw, unedited, and real. The shaky camera, the muffled cries, the claustrophobic maze, it all creates a sense of dread that doesn't go away. Atrocious may not be as famous as other found footage films like Paranormal Activity or The Blair Witch Project, but it delivers something equally powerful: the horror of trust broken within a family. It plays on two fears at once: the fear of being hunted, and the fear that the person you should trust most could betray you in the worst way. And that's the story of Atrocious, 2015. What begins as a playful ghost hunt ends in real bloodshed. The legend of the haunted woods was only a distraction from the true terror waiting inside the family itself. A reminder that sometimes, the scariest monsters aren't hiding in the dark, they're the people standing right beside us. If you enjoyed this video and would like us to provide reviews of every kind of movie, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. Have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.